Hey guys, it's Echo. Today I'm going to be doing a new series here, a ship tour video on ships in the Paragon series. I hope you guys enjoy.
The Sunsetter is the second ship built chronologically for the ECN by WD Tradin and represents a escorting and diplomacy-oriented platform that features amenities for vertical touchdown and meetings inside. Don't let that fool you though, it's still fully kitted for combat with both weaponry loadout variants compared to the smaller of its constituents, the Night Watch, which only effectively has one loadout. While limited to only light armor, it's very highly maneuverable and is best suited for VIP tasking. It can also serve as a flag in a pinch, but you'll probably want heavy armor for that.
Awesome. Tell me about the design of the grid.
As with the other Unpromised Dawn series craft, it features a segmented hull meant to take a lot of explosive damage while keeping the shields online nice and easy, while on the surface that makes it seem just, like a stylistic choice. Each major segment there often contains decoys which guide explosive shells into itself in the hopes of not hitting more fragile componentry, keeping the shields intact later into combat. The placement of the flare and ECM launchers on the top shoulders of the vehicle also help, even when landed on planet side, to help it to soft kill incoming missiles. This should lower its vulnerability wherever it's parked.
Awesome. And you mentioned it's got vertical touchdown features.
Yeah, if we look at the bottom of the ship here, it's got a dismount ladder that leads up into the main structure right behind the landing gear here.
Oh yeah.
That goes right up into the main structure, past an airlock, and when touched down on the ground, there's no complication. It can also manage to connect vertically to, for instance, a landing pad, so it doesn't have to go on the pogo stick of doom at makeshift base.
That's awesome. And let's take a look at the inside then. What side would you like to start at?
Let's start at the starboard side.
Alrighty. Why is my game?
The first thing we notice here before we even get in is the possibility of weapon swap outs. That cylinder within that scaffolding there is a placeholder for missiles. The ship we have out right now is the E or escort pattern, and so those are left empty while the gun slots are filled. Even in dry dock, you can swap them around if needs be.
So these come with a lot of modularity.
Yeah. Got a pressurized airlock here. Then we have the main body. This main hull connects everything on the ship, from the vertical dismount at the end of the hull there to the airlocks and engineering, which are behind us. Concessions have been made to allow this thing to have a very large cargo supply, as you can see right here. But everything's still relatively safe, and it even comes equipped with a CIC despite the tight nature of a frigate that's trying to sport some amount of armor.
So this is very combat capable then, even at frigate size.
Yes, I've gone out of my way to make sure that the shields are as high as they can get without just being, a cold comfort mid-combat. So the hull itself is conducive to being shielded so that any explosive damage that hits it doesn't just drop it instantly.
Alright, that's cool. Alright, where to next?
Let's just go counterclockwise here. We've got the cryo and kind of clinic of the vessel. Basic monitoring equipment, stats displays, and a survival kit here mean that the vessel is minimally functional in a survival scenario, despite being a purpose-built warship at the end of the day. Then over here we have crew amenities. I went very far out of my way to make sure that this was the highest effort room in terms of actually having room on the frigate. Because if you're going to end up stuck on one of these, you don't want to end up with cabin fever. There is not much to pace around with. So there's a nice open floor here. Customization is encouraged by crews. And I even managed to like tip a cargo crate over here to make a bit more of a table.
Yeah, pacing around is an engineer's favorite task when not building.
Yeah. You have to pace around. It is a rule of space engineers.
Nice little bathroom.
Then forward here, we have that vertical dismount ladder. Either of these two doors to the side of it go to forward engineering.
With an airlock system to compensate for any pressure loss like that.
Mm-hmm. You have a little bit of spare parts and access to the primary jump drive. And if we go forward a bit here, I think I also managed to have maintenance to the top missile tube. Yeah.
Oh, so if you had one in, you'd be able to repair this, manually load ammo if the conveyors are down, do what you need to do.
I'm pretty sure it also doubles as the cargo access for the forward area. So you don't got to go fishing around.
It's a good little DC locker on a not that much space, and you still managed to fit a DC locker in here.
Yeah. I'm obsessed with making sure there are spare parts.
Oh, that's not necessarily a bad thing in combat.
And if we go up this stairwell here, we get to the meeting area. Pretty sure this has been filmed on an episode. This has got a classic blue versus orange lighting scheme, tons of LCDs, and 2 consoles, just to really make sure whatever you want to display can be displayed. And to leave a good impression with whoever your guest diplomat is.
Yes. Yes, we've had Jorn in the hot seat of the evil side.
The evil side.
Yes. And I noticed as well, and we discussed this beforehand, that you can't walk on both sides or like completely around the table.
Yeah, I wanted to prevent people from pacing around too much up here. There's already plenty of space circling the diplomats while they're talking about stuff. I felt was maybe a little bit too much on the wandering aspect. So, yeah, screw them circlers. That was basically my opinion at the time I built this. Because over in another community I build with, Sojourn Rim, sometimes we have to redo entire scenes because everyone's just walking around. It looks like in one of those like particle simulators. I just wanted to nip it in the bud, basically.
How many times will this bouncy ball touch the wall?
Yeah, pretty much. Behind each of these LCD screens, you also get a good view of the outside, so you can take advantage of natural lighting during your meets. And it is double glassed, just like the bridge windows. No leaving the people here unprotected.
Fair enough. See a vending machine here. And
on the other side, there's a dispenser, which ironically is more like a vending machine.
Yeah. Nice amenities for people who are in meetings and such. Some
of the hardware run on this ship are kept in these little climate-controlled prep rooms. They got a server rack and a little equipment bay on each side.
I see. Very nice, very nice.
Pretty sure one of these are spare. Or no, this one runs the shield HUD. Up this ladder shaft, this was something I begrudgingly added. I don't like doing this unless I have to.
The ladders?
Ladder shafts can get really disorienting when it's across multiple floors. This is the visual bridge. I've had a specific style I like to hit with these across the whole roster of Unpromised Dawn. This is by far the most compact one, but by the least like it is not wasting any room here. It is still a double glassed bridge all the way around, and I'd say the crew is pretty well protected. Now, could you take a coil gun shell to the face like a Dusk Herald? Probably not. But you can absolutely take a hit from an Ares, and the splash damage should get absorbed.
Yeah, it's still a great view to see out and observe the battlefield or any incoming fire or any hazards out there.
I think by like actual practical angle, this has the best like lower view up until you get towards the Daybreaker. So you can see down like from the nose the highest angle, or lowest if you want to be pedantic about it.
And this is only the visual bridge. You also put a CIC into this?
Yes. If anything, you want to operate out of it because as a frigate, you lack heavy armor. And so while this bridge looks nice and cozy, you're in a lot more danger compared to destroyers and up piloting from a visual bridge. But in parade scenarios or like situations where you want to do recon, having access to something inside the ship that you can look outside towards, especially with a great angle of view, you really start to miss it if you don't have it. So I swear by having at least one Viz bridge in almost all the ships I make.
Understandable. Let's take a look at... Oh, my game froze. There we go. All right, let's take a look at the CIC now.
This is the lengths I've had to go to seal this off pressure-wise from the rest of the ship. You're going to have a little bit of trouble getting back up the staircase, just a forewarning, but it's going to be natural going down.
Oh, this is actually a nice compact little CIC.
You also have your shield generator right there. This is probably the most armored part of the ship, minus engineering, which I've utilized some tricks of the trade to keep armored. By just like availability of armor right where we stand. Even the shortest route is going to take like 2 or 3 blocks of armor and a pretty coincidental attack angle to do much. This vessel very much has its weaponry on the top of its deck, and therefore you're often presenting that side, the thickest portion, when fighting. Otherwise, you've got a full heads-up display here with target info and artificial horizon and your shield meter.
And next to the shield generator.
Some of the block logic is down here as well, like the onboard warning system and go for.
Oh, understandable. And speaking of systems, what systems does the ship have available?
We've got an onboard warning system, which will interact with the block interactions of like cockpits, control seats, anything that can control a grid, basically. They have setup actions. You can have them route to something like a broadcast controller set to not use antennas and broadcast to everyone, and every single seated person on the ship gets a message when that occurs. You've got 8 total messages you can send from a broadcast controller. So just message 1 and 2 is you've been locked onto and a lock has been dropped. You can also set up further interactions, which is how Go4 ends up getting wired to provide its soft kill functionality. Additionally, you've got a shield HUD. You can swap that up if you'd like, but I find that a lot of pilots do not have the kind of time to look at an LCD inside their ship while they're managing everything outside. There's a neat little command you can run to put the actual numbers on your HUD. Most pilots like to know proportionately how much shielding they have left, because usually you want to know how fast your shields are going to go down, like in the next how many seconds, and just measuring a straight bar as opposed to doing head math with numbers has helped a lot of pilots, from my experience, to know exactly when to disengage, or like when they should, if they should. Meanwhile, if they see like a 100,000 HP vanish, they might immediately panic and jump while they still have like 1.2 million left.
Yeah. What how is it in terms of maneuverability and atmospheric rating?
It is by far the fastest Unpromised Dawn ship in the roster, thanks to the fact that it's light armor based and meant to flee from combat. If you want to get in the seat and just tap W, you will notice this thing is insane on the uptake. Thing's a hot rod in disguise.
Oh yeah, that's a lot of acceleration.
It's got just as much upthrust, if not more. It will absolutely book it from any location it's at, and I'm pretty sure just like the Night Watch class, it can hit the like hard speed limit, which is not something the other ships in the roster can do. So in other words, these can actually top out the speed limit and not be catchable unless you jump towards them.
So they can also work as decent interceptor ships in non-jump combat.
Yes, especially if they take missiles. One or two fights now, I have seen Night Watches and Sunsetters absolutely surprise someone despite their really small class.
This is a really impressive, neat little ship. I really like it. And as you know, I mean, we've built a couple in the series, and they've been used to great effect, so...
Yeah, I'm thankful to have the chance, honestly. Working on this project has been a blast, Wyatt.
I'm thankful to have ships that don't explode instantly.
I could make those.
All right.
Just on block damage to detonate all warheads. It's like Star Wars. The moment the shield's down, the ship's less than paper mache. Yeah.
I feel targeted.
The ship with social anxiety.
Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed, please feel free to leave a like or a comment, and the link for the ships will be down below. Have a good night.
Let me out! Okay, I'm good.
Yes. This is exercise.
Some jetpacking required. Superhuman jumping abilities.
I've got the legs for it, don't worry. Like a fucking frog.